Hi, morning. This presentation basically I'm going to talk about how to manage high performance. As per definition of high performance from a team perspective is a group of people who share a common vision, goals, metrics and who collaborate, challenge and hold each other accountable to achieve outstanding results. One can recognize a high performing team when the members have a clear, shared vision of where they are headed and what they have to accomplish. In current scenario, all CEOs, company directors, influencers and big name in the business regularly preach the importance of effective performance management. This area what I'm talking right now is performance management includes how company can engage their employees to review their ongoing workplace performance and development. The performance management process combines information gathering through monitoring, goal completion, feedback and discussions. By analyzing success, strengths, learning from the mistakes and examining potential for growth and development, business can develop talent, enhance individual performance and refer out problems. But this is easier said than done. There are number of performance management processes, tools and approaches companies can take to inspire, monitor and manage employees. An effective performance management system requires commitment and dedication from human resource department and managers and employees. With the help of this presentation, we will explore why we should have employee performance review at work, although not outdated and ineffective annual appraisal, how performance management is changing, and the overall importance of performance management to the business success. In a high performance culture, individuals and team take responsibility for the continuous improvement of the customer experience and the business results within a framework provided by effective leadership. A high performance culture is sustained by highly skilled and highly motivated employees. A precondition to this is that performance management is seen not as an isolated event driven by the human resources, but as an integral part of management process. It also implies adoption of management principle of contract and agreement rather than command and caution. Labor driven to knowledge driven. Time has come. Indian entrepreneurs started shifting from labor driven organization to knowledge driven organization. In today's scenario, where the knowledge and products becoming quickly obsolete, organizations and employees who are able to improvise, solve problems and learn continuously rather than simply follow established routines. This defines the knowledge worker. The knowledge worker has a strong sense of his or her own word and need of autonomy, and therefore is not easily impressed by hierarchy. To encourage the knowledge worker, manager must build relationship based on trust and influence without depending solely on the power of their position. They must also create the condition for continuous learning. Managing performance as a continuous process. In a context where continuous improvement is required, emphasis of performance management is on planning, learning, motivating rather than on back-end review. Performance management therefore goes far beyond performance reviews. It is a continuous and much wider process that reflects normal good management practices such as setting directions, monitoring, and taking action accordingly. It is not something special that managers have to do. It is what managers are expected to do in an environment of content and agreement, and as a part of this core responsibility. It involves providing feedback, conducting informal progress reviews, updating objectives and work plan, dealing with performance problems, giving feedback, recognizing and developing. Managing performance in virtual team. I have extracted a quote from the article Trust Makes the Team Go Round, which was written by Judith A. Ross. You must be responsive and committed to your virtual team as your colleagues sitting down the hall. They have to know that your door is open even if they cannot see it. If possible, promote some face-to-face time. Even a small amount of contact can go a long way towards creating trust among the employees. If meeting face-to-face is not possible, it might be worth creating a file or an internet pages with a photo and a briefing paragraph about each team member. It seems like a small thing to know what a person look like, but that is what make them seem much more human. Make visible the work each team member is doing. Promote sharing of the information about work progress as well as learnings and best practices. Provide regular feedback. A virtual team needs as much input on how it doing as a normal team. If your virtual team includes employee from the different nationalities, foster understanding of the culture difference. For example, the level of assertiveness of certain culture may seem aggressive to others. It is important to promote awareness of cultural variation so that things are not taken personally. During conference call where there are non-native speakers of English, make a point of asking people to slow down or to repeat something that might not have been understood by all. If you do so, non-native speakers will be less shy to ask the same. Motivation and performance. Motivation is not synonymous with performance. Even a very highly motivated employee may not succeed in achieving his or her objectives, especially if he or she lacks the required skills or works under the unfavorable conditions. Although motivation does not completely account for job performance, it is still a key determinant of it. Most importantly, one that manager can do something about. Creating a feedback culture. The process of sharing observation, concerns and suggestion to modify or improve an individual performance. It must be bi-directional process. Research shows the provision of accurate and fair feedback is the single most important driver of performance. Feedback helps employees answer two basic questions. What do you expect of me, and how am I doing at meeting your expectation? The answer to this question drive performance improvement and also give significance to employees' effort. However, there is evidence that performance feedback is occurring irregularly or not happening at all in most organizations, second only to dismissing an employee. Leaders cite performance appraisal as a task they dislike the most. How can we change the perception of feedback from personal attack to learning opportunities, and from an event to natural part of workday. Preparing and giving feedback. Components of good feedback. Fundamentally, feedback is a good thing. However, what we often see is a focus on personality and intent rather than on behavior, and lack of clarity on what needs to change. The information delivered is not specific and therefore tends to trigger emotional responses. Employees need specific information about what they are doing well and should continue doing, what they should stop doing, what they should start doing instead. The keyword is specific. Vague comments such as "you are too aggressive during team meetings" may be true but do not help any employee to learn, improve. In other words, it should like a personal attack. Building trust based relationship. In another one of the quote I am going to mention here, which was mentioned by Paula Caproni in his article The Practical Coach 2001. We live in a complex world. We cannot fully understand, depend on people whom we can never completely know, and really rely on the organization that do not exist for the sole purpose of meeting our personal needs. That means, in other words, we don't have the total knowledge or control of the situation, so we need to trust to rise above our fears and take productive actions. Managers who inspire trust tend to more effective in a number of ways. They build support for their goals because employees are less likely to question their competence, goodwill, direction and intentions. Develop more productive employees because people in trusting relationship tend to exhibit increased self-control, creativity and flexibility, as well as less stress and defensiveness. Inspire employees to go extra mile and to contribute in a way that go beyond their objectives and job descriptions. Enhance communication because employees are more likely to speak openly and honestly and listen carefully. However, trust is not about always being nice. Studies show that too much emphasis on positive relation can actually hamper performance and prevent comfortable but necessary discussions and decisions. Now we go to next slide, which basically talks about observation and facts versus inference. Keeping in mind the definition of observation, facts and inferences, read the confirmation provided and it in the table. Identify the inference, facts and observation for any inference. Also identify how it can be converted to facts. Observations, things that you can see. Facts, things you know based on the data. Inference, conclusion, usually about someone's personality, intent, etc. Now I would like to explain the same along with the help of example. We start with the first example. Rahul is a senior member of your team with a high degree of technical expertise. Rahul is also arrogant and self-centered. None of your other employees want to work with Rahul, which is affecting team productivity and morale. Second example, Sheena has been working in the same role for past 8 years. You took over as superior for the team. Sheena worked in about years ago. You heard that Sheena is just a difficult person to start with. You gave Sheena verbal instructions but found that Sheena ignored some of them. So you began to use email. To your surprise, Sheena would return to the document with only some of the changes you had recommended. When challenged, she said she knew her role extremely well and didn't agree with your changes as she has been doing the work much longer than you. Social perception. A psychological process called social perception may help us understand why it is difficult to provide objective and specific feedback. We are constantly and automatically integrating and interpreting information about others to understand them. That is, to answer the questions: what made this person behave as he or she did, and what is he or she really like. We tend to do what that by making judgment about the person's personality or intent that correspond to what we observe of their actions. For example, we may classify a person with disorganized desk as sloppy. Two primarily biases are there, which I'm going to discuss now. We are far from the perfect when it comes to making judgment for others. Researchers have found out two main types of biases that interfere with making accurate judgments. We are more likely to explain others' action in terms of internal rather than external reasons, because we cannot be aware of all the situational factors that may be involved. For example, someone with a disorganized desk may not be sloppy but rummaging to it to find some important documents. We tend to fit other into categories. People from area X are difficult to work with. In other words, we naturally tend to rely on mental shortcuts to avoid learnings about peoples as individuals. I'm going to discuss about guidelines to avoid perceptual biases. To improve acceptance and quality of feedback, managers should be aware of these biases and minimize their impact by following these guidelines. Take time to get to know people and what they are doing better before convincing yourself that you already know all you need to know about them. Do not overlook external causes of behavior. Managers need to make judgment accurately so that they can decide whether to focus their efforts on developing employees or changing work conditions. Identify and confront your stereotypes. Gather good quality performance note portion in the My Performance system to capture data throughout the year. Handling difficult conversation and conflicts. As per Gerald Greenberg in an article was basically title was Managing Behavior in Organization 1998. He said a process in which one party perceives that another has taken or will take actions that are incompatible with one's own interest. Communicating negative feedback is inevitable in organization. All too often, the process arouses conflict, especially when destructive criticism is used instead of constructive feedback. Applying basic rule of feedback can reduce the frequency and seriousness of disagreement. However, conflict will never be totally eliminated and can even be starting point of finding solution that neither party had thought of. Managers and employees need to understand that feeling and emotions play a strong role in the feedback process, particularly when the feedback being given in the change in behavior is needed. It is often this emotional reaction that can lead to conflict. The change curve, where change is involved, emotions and feelings run strong. The change curve outlines the many emotions that can be seen when an individual goes through the change process. Stage 1: shock, numbness, and denial. Emotional hijack, where the defenses kick into protection one's position, ignoring the message being given. Rationalizing the feedback, looking to apportion blame elsewhere. Stage 2: fear, anger, and guilt. Deep seated emotional responses, becoming frustrated with self and other over actions. Worry over the wider implications of the meaning of the message. Stage 3: understanding, acceptance, and moving on. Emotions giving way to logic and sense. Recognition of the value in the message given. Identifying necessary actions and making progress. Developing people. The primary purpose of performance management is to improve individual and ultimately organizational performance by creating a climate for learning and developing the capacity to work effectively. This is done through feedback or in more structured way. During the whole performance management cycle, managers and employees can discuss improvement area and the learning required. That is, have a development planning conversation. During the objective setting set stage, throughout the year in informal reviews, in the formal performance reviews, one should document the development area both in the objective setting stage and in formal reviews. Development planning sets out what people need to learn to improve their current performance and further their career. Everyone should have a development plan. There is always something that can be done better. Unanticipated demands may require from us new, stronger skills. Finally, most employees want to grow and go beyond their current roles, whether in a lateral move or in a promotional. Benefit of developing planning. Every company should be significant investment into employees. It takes time and money to recruit them and get them up to steep speed. So it makes sense to help them develop and improve skills, therefore their ability to contribute in their long term. A focus on development empowers employee, increase the engagement, result in terms of being capable of taking on new responsibility and adopting to changing marketplace. The basic element of development plan: what learning is required, what knowledge skills are required to accomplish current objective, what are the most relevant gaps, what are the employee's career aspirations, what knowledge skills does the employee need to pursue in his career interests. How will the learning be achieved? By training. The manager and employee establish specific training objectives and post-training contracts on how learning will be applied, observing what other to do. The manager and employee agree on what will be observed, the time involved. The model employee is briefed by the manager. Guided readings. Employee has scheduled opportunities to discuss learning with the manager. On the job application is defined and followed up. Specific assignment. The manager, employee, and if it is a cross business assignment, manager from another area agree on how to make it work. Responsibility, allocated time and resources. Post assignment steps are planned. Coaching. Coaching is a more formal interaction. As with any other business initiative, it is essential to establish clear outcomes for the development plan. What will be employee be able to differently or better? How will this be measured? When should progress be measured? A development plan should have milestone and defined duration. Who is accountable? Personal development plan is carried out by the employee with the guidance and support from managers. The involvement of others such as model employee must be careful, weighted and agreed. Coaching and feedback. Coaching is often confused with feedback. Feedback is usually a brief interaction with the employee with the information about the past given in the present with the goal of influencing the future. Coaching is more formal interaction, usually a series of discussion focused on the future. Coaching is helping people see other options and increase their capabilities. Coaching is more inquiry oriented as it aims to generate insights and promote self-awareness. Here are some useful questions to steer a coaching discussion. What is the root issue and what is causing it? What have you already tried? In the best situation, what would be the different? What are the best options for action here and what criteria will you use to judge the option? Which options seems the best one against the criteria? What is the next step? When will you take it? Managing performance. Managing underperformance. Speak quote is per leg. Good performers consistently complain that underperforming employees are tolerated, even promoted and rewarded with raise, while they themselves are overworked and ignored. Underperformance is performance that fall below the standard established by organization and agreed during the objective setting stage. These standards refer both to results and behavior. Companies' rating scales definition help them understand what underperformance is. Underperformer delivers lower quality result that fall below the what is expected, needs significant help or supervision, neglects some responsibility, execute below peers, lack key skills. Underperformance, when tolerated, impact the team, the manager and ultimately the organization. Much of what has been said so far applies to managing underperformance. We aim at building a high performance culture, so underperformance needs to be effectively managed. Recruiting an employee is a significant investment, so it makes sense to try to improve his or her performance in a structured way. As with isolated events requiring feedback, action must be taken immediately. Manager must also adopt the principle of contract and agreement. That is, the improvement process must be discussed with and acknowledged by the employee. When the manager identifies the performance is more than a few isolated events, the first recommended course of action to be a conversation and if necessary place the employee on a performance improvement plan. The performance improvement plan is an action plan aimed at raising performance to acceptable level. It has similarity to but is not same as development plan that all employees should have to improve skills with views to progress their careers. The performance improvement plan has a defined data and lasts no longer than 6 months. It includes an action plan and a review. What should a manager do if he decides to place the employee on an PIP? Document the performance improvement plan on the system. Discuss with the employee the purpose of performance improvement plan and ensure he is committed to improve his or her performance. Ensure the PIP clearly identify the improvement required and specific action for the employee to take. Hold regular meeting with the team member throughout the duration of PIP, that is performance improvement plan. Formally end the performance improvement plan at the end of agreed duration on when performance has improved to an acceptable level. Other course of action can be include. The other course of action are role change, transfer, disciplinary action or change in the band. When all structured and documented efforts fail, it might be simply best to let the employee go. This is often a tough decision for manager, but not making it may be what Jack Hulse calls false kindness and a disengagement factor for good performer. To decide the course of action, the manager should consult his own manager and her HR manager. Managing strong and high performance. Good performers are broad group and goes from truly strong to exceptional performers. Again, every company rating scale definition helps them identify what good performance consists of. Good performers achieve results in line or significantly above expectation, show good high standard behavior skills and performational, and importantly are self-directed, that is proactively seek out additional responsibilities and build own capabilities. As good performers tend to be self-directed and therefore easier to manage, managers often concentrate their team time or underperformance with the time. Good performers may feel taken on granted, lose motivation, ultimately consider leaving the area or even the organization. To retain good performer is commercially wise. They contribute to the organization result, reputation and work atmosphere. Adequately managing them also help to ensure long-term growth. Good performers can be identified in succession planning and promoted to more senior position. There are few main strategies to motivate and retain good performers. Reward accordingly, recognize them, develop and provide growth opportunities. One of the core principles of performance management is focused on results, which means we aim at making commercial and metrical decisions at aligning performance to reward. Good practices in managing strong and high performance. Spend quality time and good performers. Besides for fostering communication, this shows the team that good performance deserves the recognition and keep it focused on excellence. Offer continual recognition, praise and feedback. As stated before, recognition and praise fulfill self-esteem need that is related to have other recognition as achievements. Importantly, recognition can involve nothing more than truthfully thank you. Provide coaching with views to growth opportunities or to enhance capabilities. Work with employees to reach their jobs. The last two practices relate to self-actualization. Need to become all you are capable or being. To do work has significance. Job enrichment. Skill, variety, task identity, task significance and autonomy are critical job dimensions. Skill variety has to do with the extent to which job requires several different skills and talents an employee has. Task identify refers to the degree to which a job requires doing a whole task from beginning to end. Task significance is the impact a job is believed to have on other. Autonomy is the extent to which employee has the freedom to carry out the job as he desires. Skill variety, task identity, task significance contribute to the task's experienced meaningful. More autonomy can make the employee feel personally accountable for their work. Touching any of these elements can have impact on motivation and on performance. Job enrichment is a commercial decision that takes into account whatever the individual can develop capabilities that benefit the team and ultimately the organization. The individual can prepare for future role in the organization. The change in job makes sense for the area or organization. The link between the effective performance management and high performance. Today's businesses are highly complex, and as a result, corporate can no longer think of high performance through a single lens. To sustain higher level of performance over the extended period of time, the company need to broaden their perspective. High performance can be defined by alignment of strategy, structure, and culture. How the elements, when I'm talking about elements, it includes your understanding of market trends, what customer truly value, strategic investment, effective business plan, organization design signed in strategy, critic of technology in place, work together to generate higher performance. The boxes on the outer edges of the image show key inputs. Understanding what customers truly value is the key inputs to strategy. The boxes at the center of the image show the desirable output that, when integrated, create the condition for high performance. For example, accounting, engagements, key capabilities, competitive mindset of the culture. Now we'll discuss about link between the effective performance management and higher performance. Seeing the big picture help us understand the impact of the relationship corporate established with their employees when managing their performance. Start with the culture. The performance management process perceived as fair has one of the highest correlation to engagement. Performance management based on the contract and agreement drives accountability through a participative process where the employee's input is invited and takes into account. The regular provision of feedback and the focus on learning helps build the capabilities that are essential to organizational success. The relative assessment and clear benchmark drive differentiation and competitive mindset. Strategy. An effective objective setting process is integrated with the business planning. Individual objective results from the top down and bottom up alignment with the team, business unit, and overall business priorities. The overall group and individual business establish their objective on a strategy priorities. These are cascaded throughout the business. This is the top down alignment. The team and employee also have a role in identifying what they can do to support business objective. This is a bottom up alignment. The integration of performance engagement management with the business planning is key to successful executing the strategy. The decisions on structure derive mainly from the understanding of market condition trends, what creates customer value. However, operational excellence represented by the productivity, quality, and innovation does not result solely from the right structure, but also from the right elements of the culture. Accounting, engagement key capabilities, and competitive mindset characterize employees who are more productive and creative and have more focus on the quality. Performance review. Purpose of performance review is if performance management has been conducted as a continuous process, there should be no surprise of the formal performance reviews. Formalize and document analysis of where the employee is in relation to what was contracted and agreed at the objective setting phase or in other reviews. Provide a basis for new performance agreement and commercial decisions such as rewards and promotions. We'll discuss about mid-year review. Mid-year review on the first half of the review. Managers are expected to provide formal feedback on the first half of the year review objectives, ensure the employee have direction and resource required, reinforce the performance contract, provide an indicating rating. Year-end reviews. The year-end reviews consist of provide formal assignment of employees' performance against the objective and behaviors, which provides the final overall outcome /ratings. Informs decision about reward, promotions and talent identification. It also supplementary reviews also sometimes happen. Third type of review that can be used only, it's outside the performance calendar, and in variety of situation the supplementary happen. It can be used to access the performance of employees working in a virtual teams at the end of probation period. When an employee is changing roles, the previous manager completes the review assessing the performance for the period the employee worked in his area. At the end of an assignment or a project, the supplementary review allow other managers to provide a formal inputs on an employee performance that it is not necessarily completed by the line manager. However, the manager must create a document on the system and transfer it to person who is seeking the feedback from. So thank you for listening me patiently.